Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. We are live. What's going on, guys? SageKieran here. Today's video is going to be a little bit different. The reason why is that I've been getting a lot of people reaching out, asking about what I plan on doing with my channel. And also, next week, Thursday, I will be moving the channel to Australia. Initially, I will be doing a bunch of courses. Once I get there, I will be doing my dogging to rigging advanced course, which is basically the people who help assist crane operators with carrying all their loads. Crane operators, they're in the crane, and then you got the guys on the ground making sure everything is safe, attaching all the loads. That's what a rigger is. And I'm coming from experience. I did it for 8 years working on super yachts. I've operated a multitude of cranes anyway. However, I'll be doing about 3 weeks straight of study, and that's half the reason why I'm making this video, is because I keep getting asked by people how exactly to get into this line of work, how much they would need to spend in order to do the courses that I will be doing. So I guess that's the main point of today, is just to showcase what you guys can do for yourselves if you guys are interested in doing something like this. So yeah, with that being said, I guess I'll just start off with what I'll be doing initially. Okay, this music is just so distracting. So as soon as I get there, guys, I will be doing back-to-back courses. I will be doing a dogging and rigging basic combined course, and then that'll take 1 week, and then the week after that I'll do a rigging intermediate and rigging advanced combined course, and then after that I'll do the basic health and safety courses that most construction sites need all around Australia. Obviously for Perth, because I will be there, which will be my working at heights, my closed space entry, which is basically working in confined spaces, and my gas testing and atmospheric testing, which is obviously just testing gas in closed spaces. It's so simple. I've done this on yachts for so many years. And then I'll also be doing my EWP elevated work platform. So that all of those courses together cost me about $6,500 Australian. So it was a decent amount. Even my flight to Australia is going to cost me about $1,200. No, $1,300. Yeah. So I've got accommodation booked for when I get there for a couple of weeks, and then I'm going to be moving into a flat. But the main reason why I'm moving to Perth is that there are a bunch of incentives. Okay, guys? There is the 10K grant, which is what I am hoping to obtain. It is called, hold up 1 second, the Build a Life incentive. That's only started this year in Perth, and basically how it works is there are a bunch of jobs in construction and building that are eligible for the Build a Life grant. And how you obtain this 10K is you get your first 5K when you secure a job, and obviously you would prove this to the government of Western Australia by going on their website, wa.gov.au. And then after 6 months of you consistently having that job, you will get another 5K. Obviously, they're trying to get people into the construction industry and keep them there. And their hopes after these 6 months is probably that, first of all, you're falling in love with Perth. You're actually going to stay there. And hopefully, it just helps build up the industry, because in my opinion, this is such a great way to get people's attention, especially in Australia, where most people look down on construction. I don't know too many people who even work in construction who are Australian. I know Kiwis that have moved over to Australia that are now working in construction, and they are making so much money. They have an amazing life, and a lot of their study gets paid for by their company. And that's something that I will discuss with you guys, is if you're worried about all of these courses, right? In Perth, they have the Construction Training Fund. They call it the CTF for short. Basically, how they operate is for any CTF covered course, you can get up to a 70% rebate, which is basically just a refund for you doing the CTF covered courses. And the vast majority of these courses in construction are covered by the Construction Training Fund. And so my 6.5K, I will get at least 50% back from what I put in. So I've already calculated that I will at least get 50% back from what I have spent, which is amazing once I secure a job. So it works hand in hand with the build a life incentive, where if you secure a job, you get that 5K. It's the same thing with the Construction Training Fund rebate. You will get a percentage of your CTF covered course refunded back to you. Depending on what provider that you go to, your provider being your training institute, will depend on the level of rebate that you will receive. Now, my rebate is not that great because I've chosen to go to a training institute that charges a bit more, but I want the best of the best. I'm paying for the best training institute. I want to learn at the highest standard possible. I want to make sure that the entire training facility is the best of the best, because that's how much I value my education. Because at the end of the day, guys, if you're not willing to give yourself the best of the best when it comes to investing in yourself, you can't expect to get a great return. And I will always do my best to put a lot of time and effort towards my studies. I basically had to study 400 pages for what I'm doing as soon as I get there. So I've been doing so much study, and yeah, I feel that I'm prepared. But that's not the point of today's video. The point of today's video is to hopefully help my friends who are looking for a step forward when times have been going tough in their lives. And I've had people in Australia reach out to me and say, hey mate, how did you hear about this? How am I supposed to get into it? You know what I mean? So I'm even getting Australians reaching out to me asking for answers, which is why I'm here, guys, doing this video. It's just to hopefully help anyone out who's looking into getting into the construction industry. Now, at the end of the day, guys, it's always about what you bring to the table. I've got about 8 years worth of working on super yachts. When you work on a super yacht, you become the jack of all trades. So I've got a multitude of skills and knowledge that I can pull from, which is why I'm getting into rigging, because on a yacht, we did a lot of rigging. We did a lot of crane operations. I was teaching crane operations on the vessels that I worked on. So I'm pretty confident in doing any type of rigging. And obviously I'll eventually start doing my crane tickets, which is the end goal for myself. But look, guys, I'm going to show you these different websites that you can come to and actually have a look for yourself. So let me quickly bring this up. So for those of you who don't have a ton of experience in the construction area, okay, this might be for you. Basically what this is, guys, is a website called Skill Hire, which will be, oh, hold up. Can I bring that over? So basically what this is, Skill Hire is a company that helps people who are looking for jobs in the industry, and they also help you with traineeships, which is basically the equivalent of a apprenticeship, but this is in the construction space. So most apprenticeships for trades take about 5 years, right? Because this isn't that, I mean, it is considered a trade when you go into construction, but I would consider it a sub-trade. Similar to how you have plasters, you know, they are a sub-trade. So if you look on Skill High, for those of you who don't have any experience at all, this is a great place for you to start. And this will give you a bunch of different options to get into different sectors in the construction industry. Okay, you can choose to be a pipe layer, plant operator, construction workers, whatever you need. These guys are great because I know a lot of you guys out there don't necessarily have any type of hands-on experience, or if you do, it's very limited. So a company like Skill Hire is a great place for you guys. Okay, now if you're looking for training facilities, I'm going to SafeRite, right? So that the reason why I'm showing you guys SafeRite is because they have a large amount of courses that you guys can choose from, and they offer you all the CTF funded courses. Unions ruined the construction industry. Interesting. We have Hookstagram. Why do you reckon the unions ruined the construction industry? I'm interested to know. Do you reckon, is it because they have softened a lot of the what would you say, regulations? What's going on? Why do you think these unions have ruined it? So guys, if you ever come to these types of websites where you can choose from courses, as you can see here, guys, you have the reason why I like SafeRite is they do combined courses. Okay, you can do, for example, I'm doing my dogging and rigging, my basic and intermediate rigging, and then I'm also doing my working at heights, confined spaces, and gas testing, and eventually I'll be doing my C6 and then my CO. So these are my two next big tickets that I will be doing, guys. And any of you can do any of these qualifications, guys. You know, at the end of the day, they have a bunch of basic certificates that you guys can do, which is for those of you who aren't too experienced in this field. And if that's all you need, then that's all you need. So if you want to be a crane operator, you can actually just do your crane ticket, which is for those of you who haven't operated a crane at all, and then you can work up to your C6 in your CO. I've already operated multiple cranes. I've done dual crane lifts. I've done so many different types of cranes. So I will start with my C6 just because I have that experience. Now, it depends on what you guys feel confident with is where you should go. If you want to work on scaffs, then go towards scaffolding. Bit more basic, okay? But there's nothing wrong with it, you know? Sometimes having a basic job is good, but it'll be physical. Being a scaffy will be very labor intensive, so you need to take these things into account, guys. The reason why I'm doing rigging is because I have years and years of experience, and on top of that, I have been a crane operator, and I've instructed people on how to operate cranes, but on super yachts. And the reason why I don't get my crane tickets is because I don't have enough money to pay, because I'm already spending so much money. Once I get enough money, I will get my crane tickets. So Hookstagram says they turned a simple cleaner to a hygiene specialist. They made simple jobs require a certificate and made it too expensive to employ people. Interesting. You know, if it's one thing I know, in this line of work, we definitely need unions. Otherwise, we just get screwed over. So guys, this is just giving you guys an example of a great training facility that you guys can use. That has a multitude of courses, so many different opportunities. It's up to you to decide, guys. I'm only here to guide you as best as I can. Now, with that being said, if we come over to the another incentive of why you guys could move to Perth is that they have the FHOG, which is the first homeowner grant for Kiwis who are on the subcategory visa 444, which I will be when I move to Perth. even though I have property in New Zealand, I am still eligible to get a 10K grant on my first home or apartment that I buy. Now, there are certain criteria you have to meet, primarily, especially when you buy the place. It has to be brand new. So quite often it'll be an apartment, for example, because apartments get built regularly and it tends to meet their criteria far better than a house would. And then additionally, you need to be living inside of this house for a certain amount of time. So they don't want you just buying a house and flipping it. And then, so yeah, these are the tools that I will be using, guys, to help out. And then you've also got the construction training fund. So let me just get rid of that for now. So yeah, guys, I think it was interesting that someone came in on the chat and mentioned how unions have ruined the construction industry. And it's important for you guys to know this stuff, because once you guys move over, especially if you are going into the construction industry, you have to join a union. You have to. If you do not, companies are not going to take you as seriously as if you were. It just means that, I mean, if you think about it, someone who's coming new into an industry, if you don't have your ducks in a row, they're probably going to look at you and be like, okay, this guy hasn't really done his homework. He hasn't really done his research. And because of that, maybe they can take advantage of you because they know that you haven't done your homework. But look, guys, today was merely just about me trying to help out my friends and other people out there who maybe might be feeling stuck, because I feel stuck here in New Zealand at the moment, and it's really hard for myself to, move forward in life in New Zealand when things are quite difficult. And if you ever show promise in New Zealand, people just take advantage of that, and that's a great thing. There's always good and bad to having a union, and hopefully that's a positive that I'll find from the union that I will join, is that at the end of the day, I will always stand up for myself. If you can't stand up for yourself, you're going to struggle anywhere. But at the end of the day, I want to use my union as basically just as a support system when I go from job to job. Keep up your good work, lad. This is simply my experience. Oh yeah, of course, mate. Look, Hookstagram. We need more people like you, mate, speaking up. We need people to communicate to each other, to help spread the knowledge. And that's what I love, is that this is a space where we need to be, we shouldn't be gatekeepers. And I don't want anyone to think that I'm trying to gatekeep any knowledge. And obviously I've had someone reach out to me and be like, hey, how are you getting into this line of work, la la la. And I was like, you know what, rather than me having to explain to every single person what I'm going to do, this is exactly my way. Is I'm just going to make a video. I'm going to show the support systems in Perth, the different incentives that they have for construction workers, and the different rebates, the different the subcategory visa that you have to be on as a Kiwi to make sure that you are eligible for these things. And then additionally, just understanding that there are a bunch of different support systems in place, unions, and agencies that will help you find work in this type of situation. So yeah, guys, I really hope this has been able to help anyone who hopefully views this, who might be in New Zealand and is looking to move over to Australia, or is already in Australia and is looking for a way to get into the construction industry and isn't too familiar with the process and how they should actually utilize their skills and to get into a field, because there's so many different fields that you can get to in construction. You don't even have to do a labor intensive job. I've also used unions to my advantage. Exactly. Beautiful. That's it, right? It's all about how you use the tools that you have laid in front of you. As Hookstagram has said in the chat, he said, I've used unions to my advantage. That's a reality, right, guys? Is you have a set of tools. It's up to you how you utilize them. You can, how I will utilize the tools in Perth is I'm going to use the Build a Life grant to help replenish my funds after I've spent, I mean, I already have spent close to nearly 10 grand and I'm not even in Australia yet, but that's just a part of it. You know what I mean? I'm happy to put money into myself, I will always invest in my education, guys. And part of the way that I get that money back is through the Build a Life grant, which will give me up to 10k, and then I will also be doing my construction trading fund rebate. Okay, so these are two very important tools that I would recommend to anyone who is looking to get into the construction industry, especially in Perth. Perth, in my opinion, has some of the best tools and support systems in place for people going into construction. So why not go to an area where you have a better chance of success? Because at the end of the day, a lot of you don't have any experience, and it's important to know that you should always put yourself where you have the most to learn, where it'll be a lot easier for you, because why make it harder on yourself? Yes, you might live on the other side of Australia. You might live in Sydney or Melbourne. It might be comfort, you know, it might be easier for you to do it there. But at the end of the day, if you base yourself in Perth, you got a lot more support systems in place, just from what I've experienced myself. And there's a lot of different businesses that actually help you look for work. I've already got a company that is going to be helping me look for work as soon as I get my tickets after my first 3 weeks of being in Australia. So, you know, and that's the thing, is that so we have Hui Hay Jr. If I wasn't battling a knee injury, I'd be in the mines in Northern doing FIFO, going to Southeast Asia during off weeks. Man, that is tough, man. You know what? This is exactly why I want to be based in Perth, because I want to have wait, the chat isn't coming up in the stream. Hold up, let me get the window capture, and then beautiful. Oh, is that one transparent? Is it coming up? No. It's not even showing inside there. But yeah, we have Hui saying if he wasn't battling a knee injury, he'd be in the mines doing FIFO work, and that's really unfortunate. I feel for you, man. But I hope when you're feeling better, man, you start getting back into FIFO, or if you haven't yet, you do, because that's some of the greatest things. Okay, Fahim, that's awesome. Are you moving to Australia? Fahim, I am indeed moving to Australia, brother. Fahim, the reason why I'm making this video, just to give everyone context here, is because I've been getting people reaching out, my colleagues, my friends, just asking me a lot of questions. Even my brother, who's also moving to Australia at the end of the year, a lot of people are just moving over without actually knowing all of these amazing things that they are eligible for, whether it is a 10k grant that you are eligible for once you, first of all, secure a job and you stay at that job for 6 months. So yeah, this is just me just trying to inform all of my viewers who might be, you know, struggling, living paycheck to paycheck. It's not a fun life to live. You know, we've all been there, and it's a tough life. And I really just want to do my part and hopefully at least try and show that I will at least try to do my best to help those who might be looking for the next step forward in their life. And I've even tried to convince my entire family to move to Perth, just because I looked at where I am now with my family. We're in Auckland in New Zealand. We're all struggling. You know, we're worried about what happens if we're not going to be, if we don't have our job, or, you know, if we were all of a sudden to lose our job, we would be screwed. We'd have to move back home, and then all of these issues would pop up, right? And in Australia, when you're doing a lot of this type of work where you're getting paid twice the amount that you might be making in New Zealand, let's say you do these shutdowns where you work for about 2 to 3 months or even longer at a time, you wouldn't mind after having a month off of not getting paid, because you just work 3 months straight making a ridiculous amount of money, but you can't accomplish that in New Zealand, and it's really tough. Fahim says, is this only for selected people or for everyone? So Fahim, how it works is for the 10K grant, it is for New Zealand citizens and for Australian citizens. But a lot of people from Asia move to New Zealand because New Zealand is a very easy country to obtain a New Zealand citizenship, and then they move to Australia. The majority of people who move over to Australia from New Zealand are not Kiwis, are not people who were born in New Zealand. There are people who migrated to New Zealand from Asia, for example. They obtained their citizenship, and then they went straight to Australia, because it's really difficult to obtain an Australian citizenship unless you are a Kiwi, you know, you have the New Zealand passport, or you marry to an Australian. But that's because Australia has, a far better life. You know what I mean? It's not like New Zealand, which is, in my opinion, becoming similar to a third world country at the moment. You know, the rich are getting so rich, and the poor are just getting poorer. So, you know, that's how I classify a third world country. Is the gap between the rich and the poor is enormous, and New Zealand, unfortunately, is going with that trend where the rich people just keep increasing the price of living, the price of, you know, basic needs, medical care, anything and everything. It's just going further up and up. And yeah, unfortunately, all the poor people, I would even classify myself as one of them, because the middle class has just been completely knocked out. I'd classify myself middle class, but no longer in New Zealand do we have the middle class. So yeah, that's why I'm moving to Australia, is because the middle class is now becoming lower class, and the rich up, you know, high classes, they just keep going higher and higher. But yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, a lot of people from Asia also move to Perth anyway, because it's so close, and they work in the mines. They do it all, man. You know, that Perth is a very diverse city. There's a lot of different cultures, a lot of different people from all over the place, and I love being in those types of cities where you have people flying from all over, and you know, they're just trying to make their life better. They're trying to be a better version of themselves, and that's one of the main reasons why I'm going, is to hopefully have a better life, and to definitely grow my channel, because a lot of my viewers are from Asia, where I will be flying to on my time off a lot of the time, because why not? You know, my viewer base in Indonesia, Philippines, huge. And when I go to Perth, it will grow even more. So at the end of the day, I just really want to try my best to at least do my due diligence in helping those before I leave, to at least put out a video like I am right now, giving people information that hopefully they take in because a lot of people are just coming to me for answers. You're planning to do your PhD. I was looking for New Zealand, Australia, Canada. One of my professors said that after getting a full funded scholarship, there might be an opportunity to get Green Pass. In what country? I mean, Fahim, if you want, I mean, do you want a citizenship or residency in other countries? What do you want to do after 2 years staying in Oz? I mean, after 2 years, oh, you've stayed in Australia for 2 years. Interesting. How did you like Australia? I've been to Australia, but I've never lived there. I've lived in Europe, Asia, but I've never lived in Australia. So this will be my first time living in Australia. I mean, it's going to be easy. Native tongue is English. I've got so many friends that are Australian, and I already know friends who are living in the city that I'm moving to, which is Perth. But yeah, I'm excited. So guys, I think that's going to be it for me today. I just wanted to hopefully give you guys the tools for anyone else who is looking to do their due diligence or their homework. I've obviously left all the links in the description down low. I've also got a landscape and a horizontal and portrait stream. So I'm doing a dual stream at the moment, guys. If you want to watch this from your phone or watch it from your computer, it's totally up to you. I'm now going to go do some study because I fly out next Thursday and then I'm into study bang on that Friday. And it's going to be me doing back-to-back courses. So guys, without further ado, I hope you enjoyed the video today. Obviously, it's different from the gaming content that I normally do, but it's because I'm moving the channel next week. And I just wanted to give you guys, hopefully, some information that will hopefully be helpful in helping anyone from New Zealand who are looking to get into the construction industry, or hopefully any type of traineeship, apprenticeship that doesn't require such a long amount of time, which is what the construction industry is good for, is that you don't have to spend 5 years to become a plumber or a builder. You can actually just spend 1 week, for example, like I am, to obtain 2 massive qualifications that would normally take you 2 years in New Zealand. So that's the beautiful thing about this, is that the equivalent of, so I'm doing 3 weeks of study. In New Zealand, it'd be the equivalent of 3 years, because that's how they do the study in New Zealand, is that they expect you to take it over years, which is why I'm doing it in Perth. So guys, without further ado, hope you have a great day or evening, wherever you are in the world. Look after yourselves, educate yourselves, and be nice to each other.